Okay, so my name is Rylan, this here is Bibik, and we're going to show you a little bit of the intro of what advanced technical boxing is all about. Now, if you're taking this class, you got to come from experience because we're no longer just showing you how to punch, we're showing you how to deal with punches coming at you. That's why Bibik is here. And so the very first thing that we're going to dive into here, and this is how the class is set up. We show you a lot of basics that we remind you of, remind you how to throw the jabs and all that stuff, but you're going to deal with punches coming at you. And we're just going to cover a few of the handful real tangible lessons that you start with when you get into advanced tech. So we all know what a jab is, but everyone else has that same plan. So if me and Bibik are actually going to be fighting, we both have the plan of throwing a jab. So what happens is then we both throw that jab at the same time and our heads will go up. No one wins in that exchange, right? We both lost a point. So one of the major mistakes novices make when they're finally standing in front of another person is that they're excited to throw a punch, but they throw a punch and they forget there's a consequence that a punch is going to come at the exact same time. Because if you're that person and there's someone standing in front of you, they start to come at you with a jab, you're going to throw your jab, right? So this just means that a straight jab, and this is the specifics of what advanced technical really shows you, is a straight down the pipe jab isn't going to be the solution in this situation. There sometimes is. If Bibik was my opponent, he's taller, he's going to try to throw that straight jab down the pipe, right? Because he can outreach me. But I'm the shorter fighter. So now what I can do is I can use different angles of my jab in order to expose him. So as he throws that jab, I can come underneath, okay? So now I have a system, a new skill that I'm going to implement, and this is what we do in advanced tech. Now what I show you is, let's not just throw that one jab. I'm actually going to plan on my jab being when he throws his jab, and I'm going to time it to come underneath. Even though he's a taller fighter, I'm going to land my jab better, getting off midline. So we'll do a few rounds just starting nice and light. He throws a jab and I time it, just like that. And we keep it very simple to start, right? Just like that, so I'm timing it off of him. And there's two different ways we can throw this. I was stepping forward, but I can also step aside, which is really effective, because then I can have a follow-up punch. Come on this side here, Bibik. So if I step forward, it's quick and out, right? I can get it and I can use his height against him. But then I can also get closer to him. If he throws that jab and I come here, now I can follow up on an angle. So not only do we have two different ways that we can use this jab, we have two different results after that I can use to my advantage. So now I have this tool, and again, I want to show you how the class is going to teach this to you. We do this so regimented because you haven't stood enough in front of other people, right? We just started to know how to throw these things. Now we got to get used to reading a body, right? When face the camera here, throw some jabs, okay? If you look at his movement, I'm not getting you to study his movement for how he's doing it. How your body's going to react when the hand comes to your head really matters. So now face me. So he does it just like that, so I can practice feeling comfortable and timing things because he's doing it kind of on a metronome and it's comfortable, right? Now from here, just like if you're in the mirror, you practice your form like this. Now I got to practice my form with something coming at me. Then the next step is to make it with a lot of movement, like you're in a fight. So what we're going to do now is Bibik's going to be in control. He's what we call the first act, but he's going to move all around like we're in a ring, and I don't know when he's going to throw it. I have to prepare and read his body language to time it. Go ahead. Good. And so you see how I had to always be prepared, wait in the angle. What was the body language going to tell me? He's more set. Then we were able to pursue. So that's a simple way that we can just start working on the jab. We have many other ways that we work on the jab. We can work on our double jab. We can work on the body jab. We can go to the body. All just straight punches. That's level one, right? Now I'm going to introduce you into really the consequence of action in a sense of how to deal with counterpunching. Now what Bibik just had to deal with there, and he did a good job, was he was the first to act, but he had to block when he was doing it, right? So here he's blocking as I'm coming. So remember, your first plan is to hit someone. It's usually not going to work out as just the only plan. So he's prepared to block. Now, a great instinct for him now isn't just throw that punch, he blocked and it's done. Throw the jab again. Yeah. It's just this. It's also okay, he knew that I was likely going to react in some way. What can he do now? And so this is where we get into counterpunching a counterpuncher, right? So what we would program in our athletes is that he starts out just as in a drill where he's just dealing with me do this, and then I have to deal with, he actually gets a hit back, okay? So from here, he doesn't have to hit back every time, but I have to be prepared that after this, he could come back with a cross, whatever he wants, right? And so this would be the drill. Just go boom, boom, boom. And then again, we move around a bit, we make it more random. That's my bad. Go again. Okay, so now we're just getting these instincts of hit, take a punch. He's taking a punch, giving a punch. And what you're going to start learning is it's a punch past the punch. The moment he's throwing his punch, he doesn't care about his punch anymore. He cares about mine. And the moment I'm throwing my punch, I don't care about my punch. I care about his. So then I'm here. I'm like, I care about his now. And he's already thinking, now mine, because I'm going to come back next. This is an exchange. This is real boxing, right? So the next level here is after I throw, he's throwing his jab. No, throw the jab, the same one. Then he throws his cross, then I can come back again. And he has to be prepared for it. So we'll flow it nice and steady to start. Then we make it a little bit more random and we move around with it. And rest. Good. So now you have an idea of how we systemize this and some of the ideas of using the tools and how it broadens into a big picture of being able to prepare you for sparring. This is a non-contact sparring class because we're going to introduce you to this stuff, but safe as possible. It's super important because when hands come to your face and your eyes in real sparring, it's intense because they're actually going to follow through, right? But this is a great way to give you a stepping stone that makes it safe so you understand the sport better, and then if you ever do want to compete or just spar, you're going to have way more tools than most people do in the sport. And so with that, we're going to give you more ideas on how to duck under hooks. We're going to give you ideas on how to block and hit back using feints strategically so you're faking out your opponent. We get into the strategy of the game because you're going to stand in front of another person. And that leads me to what we're going to do a lot of, but gradually using these tools throughout each term of technically open, non-contact sparring. And what it essentially is when me and him are sparring, non-contact, our intention is to hit here. We might actually tap the body, but you got to minimize that risk just in case he tries to go to my head. But we're just going to be doing a lot of movement, a lot of light punches with a lot of speed, right? So when I hit him even on the guard, I'm just grazing his guard, and he's still getting hit on the guard, but not on the head. Anytime I get close to hitting him where it would be a face shot, just keep your guard open. That's my goal. My goal is to be in front of his head so it's safe. This is also not just to not hurt him, it shows a level of control. When you see high-level people tech sparring with their partners, they'll tech spar with their sparring partners that they do hit hard, but they minimize risk by just knowing that they're not going to follow through in the punch. And it shows a great amount of skill to not hit hard. So we're going to show you just a nice light round here of what tech sparring is like, but sometimes we just like to use a handful of tools and introduce you into it. So this very first round, me and Bibik are going to simply use straight punches. And we can use any defense that we want off of straight punches. We can go to the body, we can go to the head, we can defend in any way, but no hooks. And so you'll get a chance to see of just kind of our flow and our pace, okay? All right, let's go. Good, rest. Now, what you hopefully saw was many different little tactics there. He went down sometimes, I went down sometimes. We used head movement, we parried and shot. Like there's all these little tools that you're gonna learn in the term, and then you get to actually practice it in front of someone. And that was just straight punches, right? And it gets even more interesting when you get to throw hooks, because then you're gonna have that much more of your game. You change elevation, you can set up hooks. We're still only gonna set up hooks in terms of getting close to their body. Maybe it hits them in the guard, or we just like, even if his hand's not there, I'm still stopping there. I'm only doing this in front of my partner, right? I'm pulling back to not follow through. But again, that's gonna show a level of control. And you're gonna realize how some of these hooks set up the straight shot. So I throw a 1, 2, 3, 2, I throw this, so this here, I actually get that shot down the pipe. And again, these are the tactics that we get to expose in tech sparring. So we'll do one more round here of technically open. We are using hooks, uppercuts, and all the other ones, all the other tactics to kind of combine hopefully where we get you to. All right, let's go. Good. He would have caught me a few times there. That was good. So you get to a chance, and that's the thing, is like, he knew he would have caught me sometimes. I knew I probably could have caught him sometimes. Both of us walk away without blood on our face, and we actually still get an idea of what we've learned from being in front of another person. Biggest thing that people miss in the sport of boxing is that it's in front of people. You can't get good at the sport unless you have something to react to, and you can't get good at it unless you have the tools to do so. So the main thing in advanced tech is so that you get technical skills to make you advance in the sport, to be ready to spar and compete if you ever want to. Thanks for checking this out.